Hello, fellow duelists. This is Shadow of the Moon, and I do believe it is checkmate today for you. Let me take your king. So, in this deck profile, this is going to be the Archfiend deck profile of the GOAT format. And this is a deck I have always wanted to showcase because I personally love the Archfiend playstyle in the GOAT format. The idea that there were chess pieces and they all revolved around the roll of the dice, and that you could potentially negate your opponent's card effects that targeted your monsters if you called the number right. Now, so for that, the monsters that are the higher will tend to have more numbers added to the dice roll, such as Skull Archfiend Lightning being 1, 3, and 6, or 1, 3, and 5, and Terror King Archfiend being like 2 and 5, and then some of the other ones will only have the one roll of the dice. So this is also more of a budget Archfiend deck. If you have other Archfiend cards, if you have the cards like Morphine Jar, Magician of Faith, Delinquent Duo, and all that other stuff in there, or Sinister Serpent, that is completely up to you, that is optional. I just wanted to show you a more budget deck, something that's more straightforward and is still a lot of fun. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get straight on into it. So first, you've got your Skull Archfiend Lightning, which is basically Summon Skull. If they target this card in effect, or if this card would be targeted for an effect at all, you roll a 6-sided dice. If the result is 1, 3, or 5, you can negate the card and destroy it. Then 3 Terror King Archfiends. Terror King Archfiend cannot be normal summoned unless you have another Archfiend card on the field. Also, if your opponent is targeted with an effect, this card with an effect, you roll a dice. If it's 2 or 5, you can negate the card and destroy it. Then we have 3 Shadow Knight Archfiends. This, you pay 900 life points in each of your standby phases, and you have to roll a 3 in order for you to negate the effect, but it's also a 2,000 beater. And then we have probably the only normal monster in this deck, 3 Archfiend Soldiers. So this will not obviously be affected, because the way this deck works is if you have the Pandemonium Field spell, you do not have to pay life points during each of your standby phases for any of these cards to be able, so that would definitely really helps. And we do have Terraforming in this deck to be able to search for it. So this is just a 1900 beater vanilla monster. So between that, Shadow Knight and Terror King, you've got 9 high level 4 beaters for this deck. And then Inferno Queen, which can add, which does not even say that you can't do it to itself, that during until the end phase of the turn, you can increase a Archfiend's attack by 1,000, making Terror King Archfiend 3,000, and then if you play Checkmate, he will allow you to attack your opponent directly. And then Deathstroke Archfiend, which can bring back Terror King Archfiend when this thing gets destroyed. This is a really good card too. Also the same thing with the paying the life points, and if it's targeted by an effect of a card, you can roll a 6-sided die. Then we've got Dark Bishop. This will actually give you 2 different dice rolls, so it's a little bit better. It does have a low attack, but it's the same thing. Like I said, this is more of a budget deck. If you wanted to take him out, you could replace him with the cards that I had mentioned before. And then for the tech cards, we've got 1 Dark Necrofear, and we've got 1 Sanguine. Sanguine's going to help you float into your lower monsters to be able to get them onto the field. And Dark Necrofear, if you have 3 Fiends, you can special summon this card from your hand by banishing them, and you can take control of your opponent's mantra, so it essentially becomes a snatch steal. Plus, it also has 2,800 defense, so I don't see anybody being able to get through that. And then that's it for the monsters. Let's move on to the spells. So we have 3 copies of Pandemonium. Like I said before, this makes it to where you do not have to pay life points for your Archfiend's effects to be able for them to, or they get destroyed or whatever. And then Pandemonium is also good because if an Archfiend card gets destroyed, you can add from your deck to your hand an Archfiend monster that is a lower level than the one that was destroyed. So essentially, this is like a Black Whirlwind back before Black Whirlwind was a thing. And then 1 Terraforming to be able to bring out the Pandemonium, search for your deck for it. Then 3 Checkmates, tribute an Archfiend card, and your Terror King Archfiend can attack direct. So like I said, if you combine that with the Inferno Queen, you give him 1,000, tribute Inferno Queen, you can attack directly for 3k, and that is a lot of damage. And then 2 Falling Downs. This essentially is a snatch deal for Archfiends. If you control an Archfiend monster, you can take control of one of your opponent's monsters. You get to keep it, and you do not have to pay life points, unlike Snatch Deal. So now we've got Graceful Charity and Pot of Greed. I'm not playing Delinquent Duo on this deck, just the Graceful Charity and the Pot of Greed to keep it simple. This is going to give you your draw power. You're going to have your Heavy Storm and 2 MSTs to be able to destroy your opponent's back row if need be. 1 Lightning Vortex to be able to destroy all monsters, face-up monsters. And then a Monster Reborn to be able to bring anything back. So it's also a great extender. And that's it for the spells. Let's move on to the traps. So we've got 2 Bark of Dark Ruler. How this card works is when your opponent attacks one of your Archfiends, you can pay life points in multiples of 100. You lose those life points, but your Archfiend card can gain that and attack. Meaning if they attack you with a 2,000 and you only have like a 1,500, you can pay 600 life points to make yourself a 2,100. So that way you live and they die, and then you can keep going with your plays. Then you've got 2 copies of Archfiend's Roar. This will special summon an Archfiend monster from the graveyard and essentially be able to help you in this deck. Alright, so that's going to be it for this profile. Like I said, this was short and sweet, but Archfiend cards are just one of the decks that I've always wanted to build. And I'm finally broke down and was like, you know what? I'll build an Archfiend deck because this is one of my favorite GOAT format decks. If you've ever seen GX, it was actually hilarious because they have a character in it which I dubbed the Undertaker because for obvious reasons, he looks like the Undertaker, acts like the Undertaker, sounds like it, even says rest in peace. So that's quite comical. That's one of the things I loved about GX. GX had so many funny, memorable characters between him, between Crystal Beast, Mammoth, Arnold Schwarzenegger, between the goofy, big, muscled kid that would, like, goofily say in a very kid voice, my mommy thinks I'm really strong, and just so on and so forth. So that's going to be it for this profile, and I hope you enjoyed that. And with that, see you guys next time. Later.